Hi everybody, this is the Baseball Hut, the amazing, spectacular, terrific, the great one, the People's Champion, your host, the Hut, and here we are back at the Baseball Hut 2. I hope you watched this video and liked it, and let me know what you think about it, and of course, please subscribe, and if you watch it, please try to watch the whole thing. So as you know, we're getting less than a month away from the trading deadline, which is August 1st at 6 p.m., and names are popping up, teams are popping up who are buyers, who are sellers, and in this video we're going to talk about the players. And it's from CBSSports.com. They posted about 20 names that are going to be on this list of players that could get moved. The one player not on this list is Shohei Ohtani. For whatever reason, they decide not to have him on there. Maybe he won't get moved with this whole situation with Mike Trout being out for an extended period because of the handmade bone that he broke. But here we go. Number 1. Here we go. Let's find out what they think. Number 1, Max Scherzer, right-handed pitcher for the New York Mets. Now, the Mets have won 4 in a row. We will see. I don't like winning streaks when the team's been bad right before the All-Star break. Tends to be, fool's gold sometimes. But we're going to find out pretty quickly where the Mets stand. But we'll put Scherzer here, and they put him on here. Scherzer's inclusion was cinched last week when a report surfaced indicating he would consider waiving his no-trade clause for the right situation. From our perspective, it would take a once-in-a-century style synergy for a deal to transpire. Scherzer holds all the cards in more ways than one. He can dictate whether or not he's traded this summer, and he can then opt in or opt out of his contract from next year. We don't think he would actually entertain hitting the open market again. He's sporting his lowest ERA in more than a decade, making it unlikely that he'll bail on the $43 million guaranteed contract. But it does add another layer of complexity to a tricky calculus. Beyond all that, we're not sure the Mets have motivation to move him. Even if this season is lost, the Mets surely intend to compete next year and to lure Shohei Ohtani to town this winter. Scherzer's presence helps in both pursuits, and it doesn't seem probable that any available deal would be worth the damage on those fronts. Here are 3 teams they mentioned: the Texas Rangers, the Houston Astros, and the Diamondbacks. I would put the Diamondbacks ahead of the other two. The Diamondbacks have a very good farm system, so do the Rangers for that matter. Number 2, Lucas Giolito of the White Sox. It says more about the state of the American League Central than it does the state of the White Sox, that Chicago remains one good week away from being in the thick of things. They're like the worst division in baseball, the American League Central. Giolito is an impending free agent who has fully course corrected from a rough 22. Unless the White Sox actually make a run, we're going to assume he'll be the best right-hander traded this summer. And they said the potential suitors are the Rangers, Astros, and Orioles. Number 3, Jordan Montgomery. Now, Jordan, he plays for and pitches for the Cardinals. He was traded last year for Harrison Bader from the Yankees to St. Louis. And that deal worked out both really well, both for the Yankees and for the Cardinals. Now, this year the Cardinals are having a bad year. I mean, had a bad of a year as you could possibly get. But in this article, but they're going to move pieces. There's no doubt they're going to be trading a lot of players that are veterans off that team. Jordan Montgomery's one, the other being Jack Flaherty. But they mentioned the Dodgers, the Orioles, and the Phillies. Phillies have actually played pretty well, got above 500. Number 4, Josh Hader from the Padres. It's unclear if A.J. Pro will entertain trading veterans, but if he does concede that this is a lost season, Hader would make the most sense to move. He's an impending free agent having a terrific year. The home run problems that have plagued him throughout his career haven't been an issue in San Diego, and he remains as capable as ever of suppressing contact and missing bats. They mentioned the Rangers, the Diamondbacks, and the Phillies. I don't know about the Rangers. The Rangers obviously made that deal for Aroldis Chapman. Number 5, the Met killer, Paul DeJong, the shortstop for the Cardinals. He'll get moved. Where they say he's going to get moved. The Dodgers, Brewers, and Mariners. I don't know. That's not a way for him to kill the Mets. I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up in the National League East at some point. At number 6, Jeimer Candelario, third baseman for the Nationals. Candelario has given the Nationals more than they bargained for when they signed him in November to a one-year deal worth $5 million. He doesn't have a StatCast percentile box worth framing, but he can finish with an above-average OPS plus for the third time in 4 years, and that shouldn't be lost on anyone. Although he possesses good high-end exit velocities hinting at above-average raw strength, he's not someone who consistently hits the ball hard. Rather, he gets his by launching the ball between 10 and 30 degrees more often than the average bear. There don't appear to be many other third base options, so it'll have to do. Here they mention the Phillies, the Brewers, and the Twins. Interesting. Number 7, Paul Blackburn, the Oakland Athletics. Interesting. They mention here the Dodgers, the Diamondbacks, and the Orioles. At number 8, another former Yankee, James Paxton. Paxton has already made more starts this year than he did during the 2020 through 2022 seasons combined. He's pitched well too, with better marks than he managed during his Mariner days. He has shown he can turn over a lineup multiple times with what amounts to a 3-pitch arsenal. His injury history makes him an unreliable quantity, but he'll be worthy of a spot in a playoff rotation if he can find a way to stay healthy until October. Potential suitors: the Reds, the Diamondbacks, and the Orioles. Right-handed reliever Scott Barlow of the Royals. Now, they mentioned him. He's been pitching with the Royals. I would assume that he'll be going at some point. Obviously, with them moving Chapman, he's probably not too far behind. They mentioned the Diamondbacks, the Rangers, and the Phillies. Kyle Finnegan of the Nationals. He's been talked about getting moved for a long time. And he's a reliever. In this thing, they mentioned the Dodgers, the Rays, and the Phillies. If the Rays come a-knocking, you're going to get a lousy return for somebody that could give you a good return. Number 11, Yasmani Grandal. They mentioned the Marlins, the Astros, and the Guardians. He's 34 years old. He's not hitting the ball as well. I don't think he's going to get moved. I could be wrong. Catcher, Yan Gomes of the Cubs. You can make the argument that the Cubs should hold on to Gomes. His contract includes a cheap $6 million club option for next season, and could use that time to help Miguel Amaya prepare to assume the full-time catching duties. We've included Gomes anyway because there are only so many potential backstops on the market. I don't think he's getting moved either. Number 13, they mentioned the Astros, the Guardians, the Marlins, the same teams. Number 13, Tim Anderson. Now, I did a video on him yesterday. I don't think he's getting moved. I don't think he has much value, quite frankly. He hasn't played well. He's got another year in the contract. Teams would have to get him. They would trade nothing for him. But they mentioned the Mariners, the Brewers, and the Dodgers. Number 14, Lane Thomas, outfielder from the Nationals. They mentioned here the Brewers, the Guardians, and the Yankees. The Yankees are going to be interested in a right-handed bat. That's for sure. Jordan Hicks. Team's going to want this guy. This guy throws hard. Just don't ask him to throw the first. You ask him to throw the first, you're going to lose the game. Underhanded, Jordan. Underhanded. They mentioned here the Dodgers, the Blue Jays, and the Rangers. Keep an eye on the Mets, too, with him. Cody Bellinger, center fielder, first baseman. He's been okay this year. I could see him getting moved. They say here the Phillies, the Guardians, and the Mariners. I can see him going to the Phillies. Number 17, another Met killer, Randall Kreitzer, outfielder from the Rockies. They mentioned here the Giants, the Brewers, and the Mariners. The Rockies are going to move players if they can move them. Adam Duvall, outfielder from the Red Sox. The Red Sox are still within shouting distance of a playoff spot. Not really, they're in last place in the division. But they should probably be realistic about their chances and trade a few impending free agents before August 1st. Duvall was at one point anyway the most productive hitter in the majors back in April. He then sustained a fractured wrist on a fielding attempt that cost him 2 months of action. Well, that's not good. Here they mentioned the Twins, the Mariners, and the Phillies. Number 19, right relief pitcher, Justin Lawrence of the Rockies. Now, they mentioned here with him the Rays, the Rangers, and the Blue Jays. Who knows where he's going? And finally in this list, Brent Rooker. He's with the A's. Rooker's perceived as a quad A player coming into the season, someone good enough to feast on minor league pitching, but who was unable to do consistently against big league arms, I'd be very careful trading for this guy. The A's prop these players up, and then they move them and they get a lot for them. Potential suitors: the Brewers, the Guardians, and the San Francisco Giants. Any one of those teams, maybe the Yankees. The Yankees have made a lot of trades with the A's over the years. How did that Montez trade work out? Not so good. That's so good. That's an example. There are several teams you got to be careful with dealing with: the Guardians, the A's, and the Rays. Be very careful dealing with them. If you're a fan of a team, tell your team, don't trade with the A's. Don't trade with the Tampa Bay Rays. Don't trade with the Guardians. Simple as that. Because you're not going to get the kind of return that you think you're going to get in any player that you have. Well, you let me know what you think about this video. Of course, please subscribe to the Baseball Hut. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you later.